Melbourne had a relatively subdued national draft, picking up just two players, but one of them was in the first round. Key forward Matthew Jefferson booted 7 goals against WA and is seen as a long-term prospect. Michael, obviously out of the Oakley Chargers, what do you like about him and how can he add to the Demons list?
I like his ability to mark overhead, I think, is his strength and his athleticism. Obviously, you talk about upside, and he's the key forward with plenty of it. Just the way he's got that speed off the mark, and he's quite rangy and lean, but his contested marking is really, really super. So, he's one who some rated, sort of in that 10 to 15 bracket, and it's where he ends up at Melbourne. Definitely suits a need for him as well.
Absolutely, and the second selection they took was Jed Adams out of Peel Thunder. He's obviously had some injury concerns in the past couple of years, was able to play the most footy he could this season. A little bit different to Jefferson up the other end.
Yeah, I mean, you sort of get your bookends there for the Ds with a key forward in Jefferson and then Jed Adams. He, of course, broke through for his league debut with Peel Thunder this year and, might not have spent much time there, but was a state representative as well and really came on this year, I think, to a good sort of selection in that late sort of second round that hopefully they can develop a couple of really promising key position players there for the future.
Yeah, and they kept going tall into the rookie draft. They picked up Ferrell out of South Adelaide. Now, obviously, he's another one who's a little bit different, of course, to Jefferson. Plays a bit more ruck, but he's that key forward as well. What did you think about his selection?
Yeah, again, in terms of rookies and how clubs use the rookie drafts, I think Melbourne did it right, where they picked a couple of high upside types who could be anything really. I mean, Ferrell is a pretty mobile ruck who likes to follow up and he's pretty physically ready, can obviously iron out his endurance and things like that. But he's been in super form as a junior really. He's been noticed throughout the pathway in South Australia. So we'll see how he develops. But yeah, again, got a key forward, key back, and then a ruck forward. So pretty handy selections for the Ds.
Yeah, and then they picked up a couple of, surprise packets you wouldn't have expected, let's say, at the start of the year, but even close to the draft. Kaya Farris-White out of basketball, and then, of course, Oliver Seston, a Mansfield kid who's played a bit of school footy as well.
Yeah, so out of Xavier College in the APS system is Oliver Seston, and a pretty explosive mid-forward. From what we've seen, obviously, can take it an overhead grab. He's got a pretty penetrative kick, so a bit about him to like, and it was definitely a surprise packet, as you mentioned, and they'll definitely see the athletic upside in a guy like Farris-White, who out of basketball, obviously, he's a big man, over 200 centimetres, can probably play a few of the key positions, particularly in the ruck, you'd think. So haven't seen much of him with a footy in his hand, but his basketball highlights package is pretty handy.